Regen is a system developed at Massey University. It's designed to better calculate soil-water balance to allow deferred irrigation and reduce the runoff of effluent from pasture. Ben and Sharon Smith have been using the system on their Northland dairy farm. Bridget Hawkins from Regen explains how it works.
Regen's a really simple system for farmers that sends them a text every day and lets them know if they can irrigate the effluent or not. It all started with some work we were doing through our company Harmonic and working with Telecom and Massey University, and really seeing that there was an opportunity with new technology around communication technologies and being able to manage large volumes of data. So effluent management was one of the concepts that came out of that, because that's a decision farmers have to make every day, and it's got the potential to actually lift profitability on a farm through better use of those nutrients if they actually can do that job right.
I think because he was quite surprised, when the effects spiked and then dropped away so quickly.
Yeah. Effectively, we manage a 100-hectare milking platform, milking between 400 cows, split calving, 50-50, 12 months a year, supplying Fonterra. The 100 hectares, we've got 28 kilometres of subsoil drainage under the whole farm. So it's a heavy clay, Waipu clay, and you're prone to flooding, and at the same time we've irrigated 88 hectares of the 100-hectare platform, which has enabled us to sustain the model all the way through. I think the biggest thing about any technology is the ability to monitor it, and the biggest thing about Regen is it's a live system. And it enables daily interaction with the text messages coming through. So you're actually getting reminded to do something, which makes a big difference. And with that alert system that they've got in place, the staff feel happier to know they know what's happening. I've got active management on farm because I'm working off farm, and it enables me to actively monitor something that's quite essential. So I can feed back to the staff, or I can actually control the effluent situation a lot easier from a distance. And I think that's the essential thing that I've learnt, is effluent is something that the farm owner, who is the fine payer and everything like that, just, you can't just go away on holiday and think, the staff are going to do it. With the amount of information that we've had, we're going on 10 months now. We're going to use a lot more information from that. I mean, the Australian, Victorian Department of Ag are going to use our model to predict grass growth. They've got an active grass growth monitor. We're going to use it a lot more to maintain our soil moisture at an adequate level, around 25% on the tensiometer. And because we know our soil saturation points, and because we've been through such a drought, we've got the highs and we've got the lows, and we know how fast, if the soil is dry, how quickly nutrients can go through it.
So what we're doing here on Ben's farm is we're measuring the rainfall that's actually falling on his farm. We're measuring the soil moisture and temperature with an Aquaflex cable, and we're measuring the height of his effluent pond. We also collect information from NIWA on the evapotranspiration rates in this area. So all of that information's been collected here at the farm automatically and sent through telemetry devices to our central database. And what we're doing there is we're taking all of that information, and along with some farm-specific information about the type of soil Ben's got and the type of irrigation system. Having records about the rainfall on their farm, soil temperature on their farm, rather than just regional averages, over time that builds a real valuable information base that's specific to their farm. So year on year they can start to look and say, well, at this time of year, last year my soil moisture percentage was 35% and my soil temperature was 15%. This year it's all lower. So last year I knew what my pasture growth was. I can expect it's actually going to be a bit behind that year. So one of the key advantages of the Regen system is that you're collecting that information and it's being stored for you and it's specific to your farm. There's two levels of the system. So the basic system costs $3,000 for the initial setup and $120 a month for the service of the daily text recommendation, access to a website and reporting. And the enhanced service costs $5,000 to set up, and that includes some additional sensors, and it costs $165 a month for the service.
The track map system enables us to accurately place the Van der Bosch irrigators wherever we need to on the paddock. So I've got a full 6-day rotation on each paddock because each irrigator does a 15-metre spread, and I can make sure I can spread it over the whole farm in 6 days. So with the track map system on there, we can accurately place all the irrigators in day 1, day 2, day 3. As the farm staff call it, it's just like going fishing, because it's got 4,000 fishing points on it, and they just go to each fishing spot and drop the irrigator. Putting them right on the spot, it gives an even spread of nutrients over the whole farm on a 6-day shift. In the winter, I might only shift them 6 times over 4 months, but it means that each area has got the same amount of effluent applied to it, same number of hours of pumping to it.
Every farmer has their own login to FarmWeb. So this is their dashboard of what's happening on their farm. So the first screen that they get to summarises all the information. So up the top here is just the same as what they get in the text message. So what the recommendation is, so currently the soil's too wet to irrigate, what the current pond level, the rainfall and the current available deficit. Then each of these graphs here just shows for the past week what the readings are that have been coming off the farm. So we can see here that Ben's pond has been holding at minus 56 centimetres from the top. The rainfall over the last 7 days, so you can see here Friday, Saturday, a little bit of rain on Sunday. The soil moisture and temperature, which is the yellow and purple line. So the yellow line for the soil temperature goes up and down with those daily changes in temperature, and the soil moisture, which you see on Sunday here, following the rain on Saturday, jumps up, reflecting that increase in soil moisture. So this is the text that Ben would receive every day. So it's got JV Farm, so he knows that it's his. To be able to run the regen system, a farmer needs to have either cell phone coverage or access to the internet. The texting back of the recommendation every day, you obviously need to have cell phone coverage. If you haven't but have the internet access, then as we saw, the recommendations available on the website. But the immediacy of actually getting it texted to you at about 8:15 every morning, I think is really valuable to the farmers.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.